Welcome back. Now it's time for our Monday motivation segment. Now everyone needs a little bit of motivation every now and then, and Mondays is a very good day to get it, especially at the beginning of a brand new month. When it comes to personal growth, there's so many little things that go into that. But how have you managed relationships when it comes to your personal growth? Who are the people in your immediate circle? So many questions about how to build yourself based on your network. And we have Seyi Jolayemi on the couch with us to help talk about it. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right. So when we talk about personal growth, can we give like a little brief introduction to what exactly it means?
Okay, so I believe that every single day we're all growing. I mean, we're growing chronologically.
Okay.
For every passing day, we have one more day closer to our, final day, and of course, one extra day from the day we were born. But when we are not mindful of that process or what is happening within us or around us, then it means that we're just getting old. We're not actually growing old. So when you talk about personal growth, it means that you are mindful, you're aware, and you are intentional about how you're growing and the changes that are happening inside of you, inside your mind. Are you getting more educated? Are you advancing in career? Who are you interacting with and all of that? It's you taking charge of that process.
Okay.
Personal growth.
So when you look at the growth of a company, you look at their ledgers, their books.
Yes.
You see how much they've grown based on how much they've made over a period of time.
Yeah.
But how do you measure personal growth?
Okay, so that can be measured in several ways. And like you mentioned, the ledgers and the books, you're looking at accounts, you're probably looking at staff, turnover and all. Yeah. For you as a person, you can take assessment, whether you're checking, the level of your mind, you're checking how much you have consumed when it comes to knowledge, you're checking how much money you have, because your financial ability is also part of your growth. Yeah. You're checking how much influence you're wielding, the number of people you're raising. You're able to check, the level of information that you're able to retain as well. Because it's one thing to be exposed to information, it's another thing for you to be able to retain it. Then retaining it and then being able to implement or execute on those, knowledge that you are absorbing. It's also another way by which you can measure the changes happening within you. Okay. And sometimes you can't even use this, metrics that people can see. Yeah. Sometimes it's internal. Because oftentimes we have many sort of healing processes that are going on within us, and that is also part of growth. Okay. So you're talking emotional intelligence, you're talking, languages, for example. If you want to advance in multiple languages, how many languages have I learned in the last 1 year, 2 years? So there's several metrics that can be used.
Honestly, I know you're the author of several books in different areas.
Yes.
And probably when you were putting together those books, let's use that as sort of like a business model. Okay. Probably had to reach out to a lot of people in your network to make those books happen. How do people begin to build personal relationships, relationships that affect their personal growth in a positive way?
Okay, so the first thing is to identify the growth that you want to achieve. Okay. Because if you don't even know the area you want to grow in, then you can't tell who or what you need to achieve that particular growth. So for example, I needed to write the book. There had to be, what does it entail to put together the knowledge in the book? Who would do the editing? Who would be the publishing house? How would the books be, distributed, printed, distributed and all. So you need that relation. And you can imagine that having conversations, for example, with my own mentor or coach is a totally different conversation when you compare it to the printer, for example, or the book editor. So this also tells us that when you identify the area in which you want to grow, then you can look at who do I need along the process, or possibly what additional skill do I need to acquire to achieve this level of growth? Or maybe who do I need that has that required skill so that I don't necessarily have to learn every single thing, that I need in the process of my growth as a person.
So I believe there are some people probably in the school of thought that as long as I'm still making money, I don't really need people. I don't really need to network. what I'm selling now is selling well, is something people need, and the numbers are looking good. At least they could be better, but they're looking good. So do I really need these relationships?
So when you talk about need, it means it's essential. And I think each and every one of us, even though I would say as a personal development coach that you need, but then you have to assess yourself and decide what exactly is my need.
Okay.
But the truth is that every one of us can actually improve even in areas that we're already doing good. So yes, your books are looking good, but there could be more. Do you want it to be more? Do you want to make more money, more impact? Do you want to scale a larger business? Do you want to become a global organization or global salesperson? Then more relation. The wider your network, then the wider your reach, the wider your net worth eventually, depending on what you're selling as well.
There are some people who are actually already connected, maybe by family.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a very influential family member and you feel like you've been doing okay, and maybe this is your uncle or auntie. In parties, you know, you meet this uncle or auntie and you're wondering how to start the conversation. What do you advise your mentees?
Well, I'll first say that a common ground is always a good way to start. The room, the environment, what's happening in there. Because sometimes you don't even know the common ground. I mean, you can talk about, people say talk about the weather and all, but then we're not outside. The weather, I don't know what the weather is now. So you could also talk about, you know, the person. Have you read their books? Have you interacted with anything about them? Sometimes you might even have to do a quick checkup on who they are, what exactly they're working on now, and then start that as a conversation. Or is it their outfit, their looks, you know, or somebody you both know, or something in the news? I mean, there are several levels in which you can start. And you can just compliment them and go straight to the point, be politely. Because sometimes you don't have that time to, you know, go around several topics trying to get their attention. But oh, nice to meet you. My name is Seyi Jolayemi, and I am a personal development coach. I would like to talk to you more about this and that. Is it possible to see you at another time? Something like that.
So we've encouraged people to talk to people, to interact with new people that could possibly affect their growth positively.
Yes.
But what is the exact end goal of that first conversation? What exactly do you need from this person from that first conversation?
Well, you need to make an impression.
Okay.
Because that will decide or determine whether they want to see you again. That will help them decide.
Okay.
And sometimes we could make a poor impression. I don't want to use the word bad, but we could make a poor impression that gives us a second chance as well. Okay. Because then when you appear again and they're like, oh, that first time was off, but probably you were nervous. So it depends on, are you polite? Are you able to give good compliments? And are you able to understand boundaries immediately at that time? Once you're able to get someone to want to talk to you again, then they're thinking about giving you the contacts or, you know, sending you can find them out on social media if they say that it's okay. And then get into their DM and introduce yourself properly. Yes, it's important to always do that. Don't assume they remember you.
I have to say a big thank you to you, SDJ, for coming to talk to us on this today. Yeah, personal growth is a very big deal, but we have to take certain steps to get there. If you would like to watch this again, hey, we know the clips will be right there on YouTube for you. Please send us your comments and contributions and questions. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC.